Alright, folks, welcome back to another episode of PowerWash Simulator. It should be episode number 6. And I think, to start off, we are going to jump right into the golf cart job. Did I ever read the messages from the last one? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I did not. Is this the Dirt Finder General? Okay. Yeah, we are just gonna jump right into the golf cart job. I need to clean my sorry golf cart. You might have heard about my poor cat Ulysses going missing. We're all frantic with worry, what with the ceremony just round the corner. I swear I saw him on the golf course, frolicking on the lily pads in the lake by the 13th. Par 3, but I always hit a birdie. By the time I realized it was just a boisterous carp, it was too late. I slammed on the brakes and went tumbling down the slope head over tail. Don't worry, docs have given me the all clear. Said they'd never seen anyone recover from such a minor incident in so little time. But the cart needs a hose down. Alright, yeah, this is the mayor. Okay. Well, let's jump right on into this. This should not be a very long job, I don't think. No, this is gonna be super quick. I think this one is gonna be structured a lot like the van. I don't know how your golf cart is in a whole lot worse shape. If it went for a spill down a hill and into a lake, how is this thing not more messed up? Oh yeah, this is such a nice quick job. It's so easy. This is just free money. I actually need to get onto the roof to the rest of it. And, yep, the inside. It's probably the inside of the windshield, but... Yep. Wow, that was quick. And boy, that thing looks a heck of a lot nicer now. Oh, man. Like a heck of a lot nicer. Looking at the golf cart now, it's almost like the whole thing never happened. You're a genius, dirt finder. Much obliged. I don't know how you managed to function. Clean the detached house. Cards on the table. We live at the old house of Esther Diath, the eccentric actress who played the Wicked Witch in that classic movie and vanished mysteriously in the national park. We all know the rumors surrounding the place, but we also know we've picked up an absolute bargain. We don't mind if the furniture moves around a little. That's just next level feng shui. But the grubby exterior is really getting to us, and all the other power washes in town are too scared to set foot in our yard. If you could help us out, we'd be eternally grateful. Well, you know what? It looks like a mess, but I doubt it's going to be anything scarier than just an absolute nightmare to wash. Um, I do want to thank everyone who has been watching the series, though, so far. Thank you very much. I'm glad people are enjoying it. And we actually have, I'm very happy to say, a few Q&A items to tackle for this episode. So while I'm doing the driveway here, let me actually really quickly get the trim done here real quick, and then we'll pull up the first QA question that I'm going to answer for this episode. I believe we have 3 of them. Let me pull those up really quickly. Yes. Alright. Let's start off with Fanos' question. Fanos said, what got me into speedrunning? Oh boy. Really, it was a desire to get back into a lot of old games, a lot of some of my favorite games. But a lot of them were games that I had played quite a bit and already beaten multiple times. And doing just another playthrough seemed like it would be boring. I wanted something that would be a little bit more of a challenge, especially with games that I knew really, really well. And that challenge ended up being speedrunning. The first game that I did a speedrun for was actually Hydro Thunder. It's still a game that I go back to, and I actually just very recently managed to achieve what has been a now multi-year goal of getting a sub 5-minute time, racing all of the easy courses. And kind of starting from there, heading over to Mario Power Tennis for the Game Boy Advance. Starting speedrunning for games like The Ancient Labyrinth. For X-Men Next Dimension. I've ended up meeting just a lot of really, really cool people and making a lot of really good friends. And I think, honestly, it'll be something that I probably keep doing for the rest of my life. It's just been such an awesome experience getting involved in the communities for a lot of the games. So that's kind of what got me into it. Plus, I'm also just super competitive naturally. So anything that I can do to make something a competition is always just a little bit more fun. And you know, when you're doing it with a game you really enjoy, it just makes it even better. That is the driveway done. Let's do. I kind of want to get the trim here. Because again, the trim on these is kind of a pain sometimes. I'd probably actually have a lot easier time doing the trim if I just swept right down. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it this way. Alright, and I will do this, and then while I start on the first part of the house, we'll hop right into actually our next question. But Fano, thank you for the question. That was a very good question. And hopefully that was a satisfactory answer for you. Alright, there is the front walk, which that is a crazy fancy front walk. Am I able to... Oh, wow, I'm able to just, like, walk away from the house completely. Wow, this is super upscale neighborhood, though. Like, holy crap. Alright. Next question we have from Jimmy Jotep. Love the name. I love this game. Glad you're doing a playthrough. Thank you, so am I. For the question answer thing, what is your favorite vacation spot? That's another really good question. I would have to say my favorite vacation spot would be Acadia National Park up in Maine. It's someplace that I've gone numerous times with my family. We used to go up there every year before kind of doing hiking and whatnot became too difficult for my mother. But when I was younger, it was someplace we went all the time, and I have some really, really awesome memories doing some of the hikes up there. Some of them, you know, very, very straightforward with just really... I guess I didn't need to clean that. Some of them were really, really straightforward hikes. Some of them were a lot more challenging. But great memories of doing things like the precipice hike when it was open. Getting to go up basically a cliff face on rung and ladder was both frightening and fun. Frightening because there wasn't really any, interesting. Is this connected to the back? Because you weren't tied in at all. But also just really, really cool. Really big sense of accomplishment when you make it up to the top. Some great views. And especially if you were there during the right season, getting to see the birds that are native in the area that make their nests right below where the hike takes you up to. They make it out on the cliffside. Very, very cool experience. A lot of the time we went up, it was closed because of the nesting. But the couple of times we were able to get up and it was open, it was really, really neat. Doing hikes like Beehive, which was really just a simpler version of Precipice on a different part of the mountain. Also very, very fun. Really cool views. And let's get the underside of that. Neat. I think if we get the underside of all of these should be done as well. But those were also very fun. Especially once you do them enough times and you kind of learn some of the places where there are things like just wild blueberries all over around the trail and something to go back to year after year. Was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed that place. Really, really want to go back as well at some point in the future. Now that I kind of have a more stable job. There we go. That got that. I will say it's also probably one of the place with one of the scariest climbs I've ever done. Was at Acadia though. One of the really good places to go for lunch up there has a lot of trails around it, and one of their hikes seems like it's just a really straightforward climb up a ridgeline until you get to the top, and you realize the only way to go forward is like a 20-30 foot walk along what is essentially a 1 foot wide ledge over open cliffside on one side and a wall on your other. It was quite nerve-wracking, but obviously didn't die, thankfully. And ended up being a really nice hike the rest of the way. We're slowly getting this all the way around. I feel like I'm probably going to end up missing something somewhere on here, but let's get the underside there. Nice. And we do have one more Q&A question to answer. But I think before I do that Q&A question, let's really quickly polish off the walls here. Is this thing just considered part of the steps? It might be. Let's do a quick, and I do want to actually just make sure. Wooden trims are not fully done. The bricks are not fully done either. Okay, that was those bricks. I bet I have to do the same thing on the back here. Yep. Alright. I do want to actually kind of do this back patio area next. Then we'll take care of the wall here and the front patio, I think is going to be our optimal play. Now I am going to put the ladder there, just so I can start by doing this portion here. I think I should be able to get everything up on this. Yeah, it took a couple of passes, but that's good. We're gonna go up the ladder and break our legs. We're gonna try a second time and break our legs. This is not going well. Okay, now we stop moving, we don't break our legs, and we get that wood trim done. Just while I'm up here, I'm going to take care of that portion right there. And now we're going to go under the railing, and folks, we are going to do the railing really quickly, this whole back patio area, and when we get back, we will do the last bit of the Q&A question. Well, I was gonna say the last bit of the Q&A questions, but there's only one left, so I will be back in just a minute. All right, folks, we are back. I did a little bit more than I had planned to in that time lapse, but the house is starting to come along very, very nicely. I'm gonna actually start off with the same type of thing I did before, where I start off with the trim here. We already got the trim on the other side, thankfully, so that's all taken care of. Just do a couple of passes along that. And there's that trim done. Nice! Alright, and we do have one final Q&A question that came in between my last recording session and this one. Which, this is actually getting recorded for tomorrow. It should be going up on Friday. And I will probably be recording again on Sunday. Since I only have time to record one episode right now. So any other question answer type things will actually probably, if they are put up within a couple of days, be able to get answered in my next episode. Trying to kind of do this piecemeal here. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Did I get everything there? No, you're probably gonna need to do the back. Yeah. Alright. What's the best way to do this? I guess maybe like this. We'll just kind of get the entire front side of that gutter done. Okay. Last question comes in, another question from Tempest Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Says, the playground is the first really big project in the game. I'm excited to see you do some of the others because they get even bigger. Yeah, the playground was definitely a very, very big job, as I mentioned. And I'm very curious to see what other really big projects and other really intricate projects you have to do, because doing a lot of the playpen pieces was actually really, really intricate. Q&A question. What's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? Okay. Let's go one lighthearted thing and one thing that actually was, really, really scary. Of course, I say lighthearted. It was lighthearted in that I was thankfully, nothing actually bad was going on, when I thought it was. When I was, God, how old was I? At this point, I would have been middle school, so... Ooh. God, trying to count backwards in age here. I would have been probably 9, 10-ish. Um, but my stepdad was having work done on his car and needed a uh, rental, a loaner for the time the work was getting done. Now, when my parents usually went out and got a loaner, they would always go to the same place, and between picking up a loaner, round trip there and back was roughly like an hour, hour and a half. And I did not realize that they had actually gone to a much more local dealership to pick up a loaner car this time. Someplace that was actually like a 10-15 minute drive from the house, and would only really be like a 30-35 minute round trip. So I was in the basement, and with the layout of the house, and I know I don't want to completely ignore the comment here, but Synthesis says, wonder what your real house looks like outside, do a video of that. If this were a different time and age, I might do that. Unfortunately, with the current time and age, that would be unfortunately opening me up to the possibility of things like pranking or swatting, and since I do streaming, that's not really the safest thing to do. I am going to be moving in the near future, so I may do a video of what the house looks like before I move, but kind of with the implicit understanding to people that I don't live there anymore. And if you're trying to swat me, you're gonna be sending them to the wrong place. And that is going to be even worse of a situation if you do. For the consequences you will face on that. So, yeah. But regardless, basic way the house is set up is that there's like a big like walk through. Like there's a big circle, like hallway that goes around the house as a whole. And my bedroom is at the end of one of the hallways. My parents' bedroom is at the end of another one of those hallways. And like in the middle is like the kitchen. It hits the family room, the living room. All the major rooms are in this kind of walk area, including the stairs heading down to the basement. Did I get the frame? I guess it might all just be part of the same thing. But regardless, I thought they were going to be gone for much, much longer than they were actually going to be, if anyone can already kind of tell where this is going. So I was very surprised when I heard the door to the house open. You know, 30 to 40 minutes earlier than I expected to. And when my mother gets home, she always usually like greets me that she's home, lets me know like, hey, it was her that was coming in. That way I didn't think that someone was breaking into the house, except, my mom was driving the loaner car home, and my stepdad got home first. He did not do that. So I was hearing someone walking around upstairs, going into my parents' room, going through drawers, and after the first, minute or two of, okay, someone's in the house. Okay, no one is saying anything. I thought that someone had broken into the house, which obviously, thankfully, they had not. So I ended up leaving my game running, and when I heard like the door, like noise going on in what would have been my parents' bathroom, and the door close, I kind of booked it out of the house and over to a neighbor's house where I promptly called the police. Not realizing that I was calling the police on my stepdad. I, thinking that someone had broken in, was scared shitless, needless to say. So, long story short, my stepdad goes outside to play with our dog, which is where he is when the cops arrive. He comes out of the backyard roughly around the same time that my mom is arriving home. And he comes out of the backyard to a bunch of police, thinking there is, an intruder in the house. Must have been a really quiet day for the police force, because I swear every single squad car that the local police force has was at our house. They're all there, guns drawn, telling him to, put his hands up. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But, bringing him out, asking my mom, like, what are you doing here? Like, she's like, obviously, like, I live here. Like, do you know this man, etc. Amusing twist that she was like, I was tempted to say no, which obviously would have gone very poorly. I was like, yes, that's my husband, etc. Thankfully, one of the officers was also very involved in the town Little League, which my stepdad was as well. He was my Little League coach for basically the entirety of my time in Little League. Recognized him, obviously. That's not what I wanted. Pretty quickly able to figure out, exactly, like, what had happened. But yeah, for a while there, at least for me, very, very scary situation, thinking that, someone had broken into the house while I was very young and home alone. Very scary situation for my stepdad, coming out to find a bunch of police in our front yard with guns drawn, asking him who he was and what he was doing at his own home. Maybe confusing might be the better word on that one. But yes, obviously at the end of the day, everything was okay. Other actual scary thing was, ironically, again, when I was home alone in the current house, so same general setup. But my parents had gone off on vacation, and now at this point, I was home from college. I was in my first sophomore year, pre-transfer. I ended up changing my major in the middle of college. Led to a lot of lost credits, transferring schools since what I ended up going into, business management and entrepreneurship. Not really a big thing at the college I had started off at. But yeah, so it was in my first sophomore year at my original college, before transferring, and had just picked up a new horror game, and was in my basement playing it. And this was probably, midnight, 1 a.m. Sorry, as I kind of focus on trying to make sure I don't miss anything here, because that took a little bit longer than I was hoping it would for that last section. That is really not the easiest trim to get, I'm gonna say that. Alright, very nice. Good, and got that trim, and we'll take care of that right in there. I just picked up a new horror game, was home playing it. And this was, I think I was at this point 20. But what my stepdad used to do when they would go on vacation, just because they didn't want me getting into their liquor, he would lock it all in his office in the basement, from when he would work from home. Well, the office was for when he would work from home, not the liquor. But he would lock his office door and put all the liquor in there, just so there's no chance of me getting into it. I was maybe an hour of playtime into the game, and right at the part where the ghost, or whatever thing it was in the game, I don't know because I've never actually finished playing the game, as a side result of this. But all of the power in the basement, not even in the house, but in the basement, cut off. Except for the TV. And the TV was still playing the game, even though, there was no power in the basement anymore, which, if the power in the basement goes off, that includes the TV power. The door to my stepdad's office unlocks itself and starts opening. And the door to leave the basement and go back upstairs starts closing, and I can hear what sound like steps coming from inside of his office. and I booked it. I fucking hauled ass out of the basement and ran up the stairs, and it legitimately felt like I was punching through a brick wall when I shoulder checked the door to get out of the basement back open. As soon as I got out of the basement, all of the lights came back on. The TV turned off, and the game console turned off, like what you would normally expect to have happened had the power gone out, except it waited until after the power came back on as soon as I left the basement. Needless to say, I did not go down there for the rest of the time they were away. And I really didn't go down there a whole lot to play games after that. It started a stint that was a work in progress for a while of getting all of my games and whatnot, working towards getting them all moved up to my bedroom and not in the basement. To this day, have no idea what it was. And you know what? I am more than happy with that fact. I am fully okay not knowing what the fuck happened. Not going to lie. But that was absolutely fucking terrifying. It was by far the most kind of blood-chilling thing that I've ever had happen to me in my entire life. I was thoroughly scared shitless. And it's not my only supernatural encounter story that I have, but it is the only one where I directly felt that I was in a lot of danger, and that, you know, it was very much a this is not good situation. It's the only time I ever had something like that happen in the basement. I eventually, you know, would go back to playing games down there with friends because, you know, there's just the very tiny bedroom, not enough room to play games with people there. But it's also the only time I have ever tried to play that game. That game, I still own it. I guess liability reasons, I will not name it. But it has stayed in its case ever since. I don't like touching it. I don't like handling it. It very, very scary memory with that. Maybe there's a perfectly logical explanation or something other than, you know, a ghost wanted me dead. I don't fucking know what that is. So that's my explanation for it. And, yeah, no, I had a very negative feeling when that happened. And I, at the very least, am fully convinced that, you know, if I had not gotten out of the basement, I might just not be here. So maybe not exactly what you were looking for, Tempest, or were expecting, but that is probably the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. And maybe if people are interested or ask during another Q&A, I can go into supernatural related stories from my other house. But you know, that'll depend on if people are interested, want to hear it, and ask. Now, I do kind of want to finish this for sure. I was gonna say, I don't even have the nozzle on this at this point. There's the window frame. There's the trim. There's that trim, very nice. I get the feeling that this is all probably tied to roof, would be my guess, or maybe if there's like some kind of awning. A wall. Can't imagine that stuff in there. Pause. Oh. We missed a little bit there. Yeah. Alright, very cool. Yeah, you know, the house is slowly starting to come together. Very, very slowly. But we've gotten quite a bit done. I think the last thing I'm gonna do here, before we wrap up, is I'm gonna do this back wall. Let's go ahead and get this all cleaned up here. I was gonna say, I want to make sure I get that trim. And yeah, if I move a bit closer, it actually does increase the water pressure hitting whatever I'm trying to wash. So that'll get all of this extra tough grime off, because this grime is a little tougher than I was expecting it to be. But yeah, there's the back wall there done. Make sure I get kind of this whole underside so it's not, you know, some hidden remaining piece. I got those gutters fully cleaned, that one fully cleaned, and I think we have actually one other gutter to do here. Wait, can I do this? very cool. Interesting. No, that was a mistake. I went farther than I wanted to. I thought I'd be able to Okay, let's see how we do if we just kind of go down. That. And then slide over here. Beautiful. Alright. Yeah, no, that is going to wrap up this session, though, folks. Hopefully everyone did enjoy. If you did, please hit the like button down below the video. Hit the subscribe button. Consider hitting the notification bell to let you know when more of this series and my other content is released. But yeah, no, hopefully everyone enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Again, open Q&A and the questions down below. This is getting recorded on Thursday. It'll probably go up on Friday. Tomorrow is when it's supposed to go up. And I'll be recording again in a couple days after that goes up. So there's a couple day span where people can get more questions in. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.